What is up, Go World? It's me, your boy JDZ, and I'm back at you again with another Go Format video. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. One of the subscribers or someone in the Discord, I can't quite recall, sent me this video, and I am going to provide my initial reaction to this video. I think it's interesting. It's something I want to do to try to kind of just give my thoughts on how I feel. If you disagree with how I feel, please let me know down in the comments. If you agree with the video that I am reacting to, please let me know that in the comments as well. The video that I'm going to be watching today is called Why Goat Format Isn't As Good As You Think It Is. Okay, this is made by a YouTuber that goes by the name of Stevie Blunder. Shout out to them. This is no disrespect to Stevie Blunder. The last thing I want is anyone to go and provide any type of negative energy towards Stevie Blunder. This duelist has their opinion. I have my own opinion, and I just want to see what some of the things they're talking about and put my initial thoughts onto to just counter some of the thoughts that they're having in a pretty civil manner, if that makes sense. So without further ado, let's hop on in. This is called Why Goat Format Isn't As Good As You Think It Is, and don't call me the N-word, please, in the comments. Please don't do that. So we're not gonna harass Stevie Blunder. We're just going to check it out. So here we go. Without further ado.
Note that this is an opinionated piece based on my personal opinions. Although this content in the video is factual to some degree, it is very heavily subjective and based on my own personal opinions and outlooks of Yu-Gi-Oh! Itself. Don't get too bent out of shape.
Cool.
Goat format is one of the most popular formats of Yu-Gi-Oh! And for good reason. It's an older era of Yu-Gi-Oh! Filled with interaction, nuanced gameplay, and skill testing matchups from a wide variety of decks. It tested players' decision tree lines, ability to play with virtually perfect knowledge, and was a sacred battleground where only the best and most skillful players who thought 30 turns in advance won. At least that's what the GOAT format elitists say.
I can feel the sarcasm. Obviously, I really don't believe any GOAT format player thinks that. People who play GOATs all the time, or people who play GOATs often, they understand what the format is, and they know how the format interacts, and there's really no need to think 30 turns in advance. Maybe a turn, maybe two. I can kind of feel the sarcasm that they're trying to say, so obviously it doesn't really mean 30 turns, but I kind of get what they're saying. Some GOAT format players, maybe they do have this elitist idea about the format that we play, but most people don't feel that way.
Format surrounded by bomb cards, where the only real resource management and decision making took place in the form of, which monster am I going to set, Sangan or Gravekeeper's Spy? I personally tried to get into GOAT format and found it to be an absolute drag.
When people say that line too, that's a funny line I hear quite often. Oh man, I tried to play GOATs, but it's just so not for me. It's boring or it's sacky, whatever. That usually means that they tried it, got absolutely waxed, and had to just move on. It's not for everybody. This format is definitely not for everyone. I understand that if you play this format enough, you know it's not for everyone, but it doesn't mean that it's bad or whatever. And there's definitely a lot more decisions that go into it. Even like you said, the setting, the Sangan, or setting the Gravekeeper's Spy, there's a lot of nuance to that too. That takes a little bit of time. And I know I kind of sound like an elitist, just like I said I wasn't going to do, but there's a lot of nuance that go into some of those plays as well.
So here are some of the more concrete reasons why I believe GOAT format might not be as fun or skill testing as you think it is.
All right.
Reason number one is, of course, the bomb cards. Extremely powerful cards have always existed in every TCG, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Is no exception. However, when a format is virtually built around said cards, oftentimes these cards being able to just win a game outright within itself based on what it provides makes the game extremely unfun to play. Heavy Storm forces players just to play around the threat of its existence. Graceful Charity, discarding Serpent, or Double Knight Assailant can virtually just win the resource game for you. BLS is arguably the best monster in the game, for a good reason. It's a free summon and allows for either immediate OTK or spot removal in specific scenarios. Pot of Greed draws 2 for literally free. Delinquent Duo rips 2 for virtually 0 cost. I understand that playing around cards is one thing, but when these sort of cards are irresponsible to, in the vast majority of situations, remember kids, yeah, Karibo, a Pot of Greed. It makes the format feel extremely sacky and luck dependent based on who can draw into their power cards.
I mean, that is a fair point. Like I said, I play a lot of GOATs. I watch a lot of GOATs. I host a lot of tournaments. I participate in a lot of tournaments. I'm very active in the online GOAT format scene and the IRL GOAT format scene. So a lot of people say, hey, we can have the Trinity. Everyone knows about the Trinity. Everyone knows about BLS. Everyone knows about Ring of Destruction and how effective those cards are and how much they matter in our game. And I'm telling you right now, I have played several matches where I've gone full Trinity on someone, or I've gone BLS early on someone, or I've played, some of the Trinity spells and I've lost. Okay, several times. I've also seen people use the Trinity on me and I've won. One thing I will say about this point, about the bomb card thing, yeah, it does suck. Yeah, we do have Trinity. Yeah, we do have BLS. But I believe this state of mind, this way of thinking, and the way that people approach it, like, oh, this is the only reason that people win. This is the only thing it's all about. It's all about this. It's all about the training. I believe that is someone who gets stuck in this. They call it a noob trap. They call it a noob trap, or someone who doesn't know how to play the format that well. They get caught into this mentality like, hey, it's all about this. If you don't get these cards, you don't win. If you have these cards, you win. And I've been there before myself. But once you start to peel back the layers, and once you start to pay attention to the tournaments, and once you start to play more, you'll quickly understand that there are things you can do to kind of mitigate the effectiveness of these bomb cards. There are times people can play these bomb cards against you and you can win. There are things that you can do. Yeah, it's not always going to be a guarantee, because at the end of the day, it is GOAT format. It is inherently sacky. I'll give you that. There are times you can just get trended out of the game and lose immediately without getting a chance. That is true. I will yield that. But if you believe that that is the only way the game is played, I'm telling you right now, that is incorrect, because there are duelists who can have, 60%, 70% win percentages in this game right now, currently. And that wouldn't be possible if it was all about the bomb cards and all about the luck of the game, because there are certain things you can do to kind of mitigate the effectiveness of these cards in your playstyle, in your deck building. That is a fact. So I do yield the fact there are bomb cards, but I don't yield the fact that they are as powerful as this duelist is making them out to be.
Reason number 2 for me are the decks in GOAT format. We can all pretend that there are about 30 to different 40 meta decks in GOAT format, from Gravekeepers to Warrior Beatdown to Monarch to MP Jar to Pac-Man.
No one believes that. No one believes that there are 40 GOAT format decks, okay? I don't know where you're getting these numbers from. There are thousands of decks. If you want to just count any deck that is playable, there are probably hundreds of decks that you can play, but no one believes that there's 40 playable GOAT format decks, so that's cap.
But in reality, there are only about 3 real quote-unquote decks.
There are definitely more than 3. Okay, there may not be 40 decks, but there are definitely more than 3 GOAT format decks that you can play. That is ridiculous. Okay, so I don't even know where you're going with that one. That's insane.
In this metagame, GOAT Control, Thunder Dragon Chaos, and an FTK. Yeah.
Like that. See, I honestly, I can tell. I just listening to the tone again. I'm just kind of going through this video at my own leisurely pace, but just listening to the tone in which this duelist is speaking, you can just tell there's some bitterness, there's some vitriol, there's something emotionally that's going on attached to it, because it's clearly not based in actual facts. Okay, this is the facts have kind of gone out the window, because you said you have Go Control, you have Thunder Dragon Chaos, and you have an FTK. Okay, we only have 3 playable decks in our format. Okay, right away we have 3 FTK decks that you can play in this format right now legally. Okay, we got our Magical Library, you have Empty Jar, and you have Demog Launch. That's 3 FTK decks on their own. Okay, you have, the 2022 GOAT Format World Championship. That somebody won that with Return. Okay, you have the 2021 GOAT Format World Championship. Somebody won that with Burn. Okay, you have OTK decks. We got Last Turn. Okay, you have Reasoning Gate. You have Stein Gate. You have Machine Gate. That's just the FTKs and OTKs and Return. Burn. Those are just like the alt-win kind of decks. We haven't even gone into the other decks. You have the GFC champion that just won playing the Warrior strategy. You have Chaos Turbo. You have Chaos Control. You have Go Control. You have Monarchs. Cold Wave Monarchs just won the GFC championship. So there are several other decks that you can play. It's just that some of the decks are easier and more consistent to use than others. So people tend to kind of gravitate to decks that they like to use. That doesn't necessarily mean that there are only 3 decks. And even with the decks that you did mention, Go Control, Thunder Dragon Chaos, which we're going to call Chaos Turbo, Chaos Control, which is a mixture of Chaos Turbo and Go Control, those decks can be built so differently from each other that they're almost essentially their own decks within themselves. That's what this format is all about. It's all about finding your own way to make your own impact on that specific event or that specific metagame. So this is clearly coming from someone who isn't involved in the online community, who isn't involved in the competitive metagame of GOAT format. This is clearly someone who just said, hey, I heard about GOAT format. Let me load up some decks, give it a shot, get waxed, and then you just start talking crap about it because you don't have the correct information. You know what I'm saying? That is clear. That's evident because you're saying that we only have 3 decks is just, I mean, granted, we do have, it's not 40. We don't have 40 decks, but we definitely have more than 3. So I think that's false information, and I think you got to get that checked out. But
yeah, and FTK is one of the best GOAT decks.
No, it's not. Okay. FTK decks are not the best GOAT deck. Okay. FTK decks are not even played that often. And when they are, they don't do well. We did have Campo, shout out to him. He topped GFC, the previous GFC playing DMOC Lunch, but that is the one FTK deck that I can recall that has had any margin of success in quite a long time because they are inconsistent. And people, like I just stated, are going to always go for the more consistent deck over time that is good for these. These decks just aren't consistent enough, and they don't do enough in this game. So that's not true again. So that's just a falsehood.
Thunder Dragon Chaos and Go Control are arguably just the same deck with different control engines. If you want to think of it one way, think of the difference between Subterra and Truth.
So if we're talking Thunder, he says Thunder Dragon Chaos, which we're going to call Chaos Turbo. If you play Goats, you know Chaos Turbo is his most powerful deck, and Go Control are the same deck, is what this duelist just said. Clearly, this is someone who doesn't know what they're talking about because Chaos Turbo and Go Control could not be more different. They are more different. That's just like saying, they all have cards and you all have to put them on the field and play them, and they have monsters, they have effects, and you're gonna use those effects to play the game. So they're the same deck. That doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make any sense.
Draco. Sure, they're not the exact same deck, and they both play completely differently.
Oh, he just said, okay, yeah.
He just do the same thing. They more or less accomplish the same goal of just sitting on a floodgate and passing, and they more or less play very similarly in their play styles, even if their cards do different things. And the fact that library and spell,
I mean, he just kind of said my whole point. Like they are doing different. What do you want? I mean, this is GOAT format. It's a very slow format. I'll give you that. It's a very slow, very, back and forth kind of thing. All the decks do the same thing. So there is no difference between any deck. I don't understand what this duelist is trying to say, because a Chaos Turbo deck and a Go Control deck could not be anything closer. They could not be anything further apart from each other. I think that makes no sense. This got to be like a troll video. I think somebody's trolling. I think this is troll. I think it's troll just to kind of troll me specifically.
In this metagame as prominent options just speaks volumes for what this format exemplifies.
Again,
slow control mirrors.
Again, they do, but they are not as viable as you would think they would be. Sometimes, again, if you just load up on the ladder one time randomly, you don't talk to anybody, you don't really have a sense of community, you don't play in any tournaments, you just load up on the ladder and you find someone playing an FTK deck, and that's your Go format experience, it's going to be bad, okay? You're not going to have a good experience. You're not going to enjoy yourself, because that's not true Go format. Go format is meant to be played as community, it's meant to be played with friends, it's meant to be played in, not just as singletons going out. This is not an online game. If I said many times, it's not something you should just drone out and do on your own. This is something that you should do with other people. And I think this duelist experience is what I'm only assuming, because that's the only thing that makes this whole thing make any sense.
Where people try and get their bomb cards after 30 turns or getting FTK'd. Quote-unquote real GOAT players will say that the underrepresentation of FTK and top cuts mean that the deck was never good. Note that Danger Dark World Firewall FTK didn't take up a majority of...
I don't know about any of this YCS London Danger whatever, what I'm saying? I will speak for Go format because that's my format. That's what I play. And I will tell you, yes, a lot of people who play Go format think FTK decks aren't viable because they don't top nearly as much, or they don't perform. And even in the goformat.com online events, library is actually not playable right now because there's some type of glitch. So people can't even play the best FTK deck right now. So FTK is down, and people don't even play it that often online.
Of spots in its prime, and was arguably the best deck of its time. It was only really hampered down by its insane price tag, being the danger monsters, of course, a lack of players wanting to play an FTK. Remember, kids, FTKs are kind of dumb and boring to play, as well as its extremely short lifespan after being discovered and, of course, subsequently banned. Reason number 3 is the most objective reason on this list. It just feels really slow and boring to play.
Reason number 3, obviously, this is this duelist opinion. Reason number 3, I will yield that to you because I've heard that from a lot of duelists who especially come from the current game or the more advanced format. there's a lot more to do. There's a lot more to do. You're constantly moving around. You're constantly searching your deck. You're constantly blah, 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 blah. Things are happening. Go format is very slow. It's very chill. It's very mellow. It's very laid back. You know what I'm saying? It's not all in your face with it. So I can yield. If you don't like Go format because it's so slow and you call it quote unquote boring, then that's a good thing to say. That's why you shouldn't play. And then you move on. You don't have to go around making up falsehoods and whatnot.
Like I said earlier, these games revolve around combo mirrors and Saki cards being recycled over and over with Mask of Darkness or Magician of Faith or just searching BLS off of like a Sangan or something.
I'm assuming that's a joke. Again, sarcasm. I can feel the sarcasm.
I've played both control floodgate decks and combo bullshit, and I can say I'd rather play either one of those decks in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Infinite times over playing mirrors and mirrors over and over.
And that's another thing I hate that people do that play like the advanced format. Don't compare Go format to the advanced format. Those are two completely different games. Like the rules have changed so much, the card pools have changed so much, what the cards are trying to do, what the game is being played as is a completely different game currently than what it is right now. So I hate when someone says, oh, it's kind of like this, it's kind of like, whatever format. It's not, because we have this is Go, and the other things are the other things. They are not the same. So if you're coming into it with the mentality that you're playing a new format, you're going to be disappointed right away. Like you're not going to have a good time right away. You have to remember that the game is completely different, and it's not going to be similar to any of your experiences that you may have.
Over again, or maybe 1 in 20 games on Dueling Books Ladder. I play against a deck that isn't monotonously boring to play against, where I can name literally every single card in their deck card for card. GOAT format has been solved to a point where virtually everyone is aware of everything in the...
Again, I'm sorry, I hate to keep pausing, but this argument as well is another one of the stupidest arguments that I just hate to see it. And it comes up so often. People just right now, if you're watching this video or if you hear this video, if you talk about whatever, never, at least around me, or just not make yourself seem, ignorant. Don't compare GOAT format to chess. Okay. Those could not be different games. Okay. I think that is super cringe and super embarrassing when you say, hey, GOAT format is like chess. You got, it's similar to chess. It's very bad. It's not like chess at all. Chess, if you are the better chess player, you're probably going to win every single time. That's how chess works. GOAT format is more like poker, I would say. It's more like poker in a sense that I might be a better poker player than you, but you're going to beat me sometimes because it's high variance. There is a luck piece that is a part of our game. But if we extrapolate that over 100 games, 150 games, 200 games, if I'm the better player, I'm probably going to have a higher winning percentage than you. That's what GOAT format is all about. It's all about being consistent over a long period of time, okay? When you build your deck, you're building it for consistency over time. You're not going to win every single time. That's what GOAT format players feel. It's not this chess. Get the chess stuff out of here. Please do not reference GOAT format as chess. I don't know who did that. Whatever marketing that put GOAT format and chess together, let's throw that out the window because it is absolutely not like chess in any way. The game is not solved. It can't be solved because there is, like I said, like even even this duelist is saying, there is a huge luck arc that is a part of the game. That if you get lucky, sometimes you're going to beat duels that are better than you. Sometimes you're going to lose games you probably should have won, but over time, that's what it's all about because it is a high variance game.
The format, which to me, in my opinion, is absolutely dreadful for anyone to play in. I won't deny that Go format does have its benefits. It's a great format to play if you want to teach a new player how to play Yu-Gi-Oh, as well as if you're the type of person who likes extremely heavy control matchups, but just like modern Yu-Gi-Oh.
I can agree with that as well. I will agree with this duelist on that point. The fact that I believe a lot of duelists who do play the advanced format as well, or they, a lot of people who play Ghost, they'll say, hey, learning Go format helped me in my fundamentals to become better at this format or better at this thing or whatever, because it takes, you can't be making mistakes in a luck format with the bomb cards. You can't be out here playing willy-nilly. You have to be very cognizant of your opponent. You have to have deduction skills. You have to be able to read what your opponent has set. If you know like you said, 39 out of the 40 cards your opponent is playing, you have to kind of have a read on when those sets are and when they went down and what's in the graveyard and what could possibly be in their hand, and what cards they have access to left in their deck, what cards have already been banned. You have to keep a mental tab of all this stuff, and yeah, it's not that hard, but these are skills that you can develop to increase your winning percentage over distance over someone who is not as good as you may be. This is how you gain those advantages over your opponent in this game. That's what the beauty of this game is. It's not about, oh man, it's the best because you're always going to win because of whatever reason. It's about, okay, how can I find my micro advantages? How can I, execute the game plan I'm trying to do instead of them? How can I get to the win after I've been Trinitied heavily or whatever? That's kind of the beauty of the format, and that's what keeps people playing. Yes, there's a huge nostalgia push, and people like the game because of they play it back in the day or whatever that kind of stuff is, but there is a reason why people still play Go format, why people still come to this format, and why people stick around and play. So yeah,
like striker mirrors, like holy hell, those things are so boring to play. Like I
don't
think
know
a single
it.
game
I don't know it.
at the time,
Never played it. Don't know it.
But Goat format's downsides for me are just so numerous and glaring that I personally feel okay with just never touching this format seriously in any capacity. I really don't think Goat format is a fun, competitive format to play for anyone.
I think that's also clearly that's this duel's opinion. They probably had a very bad experience, but this is clearly someone, like I stated, they don't follow the GOAT format scene online is a vibrant and bustling scene with competitive tournaments that happen weekly and monthly, and huge GOAT format world championships and all these huge things that we're doing at goatformat.com that just completely counteract what this duelist is trying to say right now, because there is a bustling, thriving online game that is currently happening right now that is highly competitive, highly contested, with a variety of different decks that are going down all the time. And clearly this person wasn't a part of that, because they wouldn't have made that statement.
And if you disagree with me, I would love to hear your feedback in the comment section down below.
All right, but yeah, so that's the video in a nutshell. I mean, clearly, I'm gonna put the link to the full video in the description. Shout out to this duelist. No hard feelings. They had their opinion, I had mine. I just want to say that most of this video was not based on any facts or reality. It's all opinion based for how they feel, and just hopefully, if you do play Go format, I hope you continue to play Go format. If you stop playing Go format, hopefully you give it an honest assessment, an honest shot. Yeah, getting sacked by Trinity feels bad, but guess what? You just load another game and play again. It's really not that serious. But tell me what you think about it. Tell me what you guys think about Go format. Was this duelist spitting? Do you agree with what this duelist had to say? Again, make sure it's peace, love, and positivity over to this duelist. Don't send any hatred or any kind of that stuff from us at goatformat.com. Speaking of tournaments, this weekend there's actually going to be a PWCQ. All right, a PWCQ is happening on Saturday. I will be hosting that event, so if you want to sign up, make sure you swing by the goatformat.com Discord. Get in there. It's going to be starting at 11 Eastern this time instead of the normal 12. So if you want to participate in that, make sure you swing by the goatformat.com Discord and check it out. Hopefully I see you all there. If there's any other videos you guys want me to comment on or react to, make sure you send those to me in Discord or tag me somewhere in them, and I will be glad to do that too, because this was lots of fun. All right, but until then, I'm JDZ. I play Ghost. Till the next time, shout out to the real ones. Salute to the OGs. Peace.
This program was made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.